Hello everyone. So today I'm going to answer the question, can you learn English with TV or by watching TV? And the answer is yes. Okay, but that doesn't mean you can stop watching because there are some things that we have to sort of look at first. So when we talk about learning a language through watching TV, there are different things that come to mind. A lot of people use subtitles. Subtitles are the text that comes up at the bottom of the screen, and it's translating what's being said, maybe into English or a different language if you're learning a different language. And this is very useful, of course. You can definitely learn from using subtitles, but it depends what you want to learn. So with any language, we have different parts of a language. So you have like your vocabulary, your listening, your speaking, comprehension, reading, and of course, if we have text on the screen, which one of those are we most probably using? It's going to be visual, isn't it? Because we're reading, so we're reading the text. And that means we're going to get better, but we're going to get better at reading, and maybe at reading very quickly, because sometimes subtitles are very fast. And that's a good thing. You're practicing a skill, it's going to get better. But I think the trouble comes into play because a lot of people, they want to use TV to help them with their listening comprehension, which is great. That's that is like the main use of watching TV, really. But the trouble is they use subtitles. And I've done this myself at the beginning of several languages. And it's very easy to think that you're hearing what's being said and you're not reading it. But actually, quite often you've already read it before you've heard it. And because we get so used to doing this, we don't realize that we're doing it. So we think that we're still making progress, and we are with reading. And then we notice one day that we're having a conversation again, and maybe your listening comprehension hasn't really improved that much. And then you wonder why. Well, I've been watching TV for about 6 months now in English. Why am I not as good as I thought I would be with my listening comprehension? So, how can you solve this problem? What can you do about it? So this is something I think you sort of have to bite the bullet a bit. So you just have to like jump into it because it's usually best to do this with a TV series because TV series, the actors are going to be the same throughout. They're going to be speaking in a certain way. If we talk about The Big Bang Theory, for example, a very difficult series to start with, but if it's something you've watched enough, maybe it will be okay. But we know that it's a comedy, therefore we know that a lot of what's going to be said is going to be humorous. And we also know that certain characters behave in a certain way. So if we think about Sheldon, Sheldon's always going to reply in like a snide manner. So when we get used to that, even if we didn't quite catch everything that was said, only a few words, we can probably work out what was said, and it's helping us with our listening comprehension. My main tips, though, would be exactly that, to use a TV series instead of a film, because with a film, it's very fast paced. I know it might be on for like 2 hours or 3 hours, but it's still fast paced. You have few characters usually, and you're going to have different aspects, different elements of the film as well, like people talking over one another, um, and like explosions or something if you're watching like an action film. So they're not ideal. Whereas a TV series, especially a long TV series, and of course preferably one that you like, because you're going to be watching it for a long time. And even better still, although it might be boring, is to watch one that you've already watched several times. So hopefully you have a favorite TV series. For me, I used one called Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Most of you probably don't know about it or haven't heard of it. But it's a great TV series, and there's 7 seasons. So we have an episode, which is a singular episode. So that's like with Buffy, I think it's about 50 minutes, 55 minutes. And then we have a season. So a season is a collection of episodes. So let's say, I don't know, I guess these days most TV series have about 11 episodes per season. So you want something with a lot of seasons, probably at least 5 seasons. And you want to try to watch them without subtitles. So if you're working on your listening comprehension, you have to try and watch them without subtitles. So hopefully you remember a lot of what happens anyway. So when you try to watch it in English, it's going to be tricky. So you have to be aware it's not going to be easy, especially at the beginning. But what happens is after a few episodes to sometimes quite a lot of episodes, you suddenly realize that you're internalizing a lot of what's being said. So you are understanding it. Even if it seemed at the beginning like you didn't understand anything, you suddenly realize that you are understanding it. There is another caveat here. So, of course, this only happens if your level of English is already good enough to be able to understand the vocabulary, etc. So this, although you can start at any level, it's still good to get your ears used to listening to different accents, different types of English. But this is going to work much better if you're at maybe a B1 level at least. And from a B1 onwards, this is going to be more and more beneficial to you. If you're at a B2 level, you should definitely be doing this already. So I know some people are very perfectionist, and they like to wait until they can do everything to, the best of their abilities before they start something like this. And it's not going to be useful doing that. So start around B1, and definitely start, if you haven't already, if you're B2, and see how it goes. So I'll give you a comparison. For me, with Buffy, I was at a B1 level, I think, when I started it in German. And it's a TV series that I really like, so I've seen it maybe 2 or 3 times in English already. So English is my native language. And then I tried to watch it in German. And at the beginning, it was terrible. I literally had about 3-4 episodes where I understood absolutely nothing. And my German was good. My German was pretty good, but I didn't understand anything, and it was very demotivating. And I'm just thinking, like, what's the use? Like, maybe I should put subtitles on. But no, I'd already been using subtitles for other TV series. I watched Stargate in German with subtitles, and I noticed the same thing. My reading was getting very, very good. My listening comprehension, not so good. So I kept going with Buffy, and I think in the end it was about 6 or 7 episodes maybe. And then I finally noticed that a lot of the vocabulary that I'd been learning through memorize started to appear, or I mean, it was always there, but I could then hear it when someone used a certain word. I'd be like, ah, I learned that a few weeks back. I remember that word. That's this. And then the more you do it, the more you just notice you understand more and more. So I'll probably wrap things up now, but give it a shot. So it is definitely possible, and do both of these actually. So, like I mentioned, I did this with Stargate with subtitles, Buffy without subtitles. That way, you're learning two skills. Of course, depends on how much time you have, but it's very, very useful. So, I recommend doing both and see how it works out for you. But don't give up. This is the main takeaway. It doesn't matter how long it takes until you start internalizing whatever it is. If you're doing it for reading practice or if you're doing it without subtitles for listening comprehension, keep doing it. You will make progress. Let me know how it goes. And also, let me know which TV series you're going to use. Are you also a Buffy fan, maybe, or a Stargate fan? Okay, well, nice seeing you all again. Take care. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and bye bye for now.